Welcome, Cancer, to your in-depth weekly astrology overview and zodiac forecast for week commencing the 23rd of March for the ascendant, the sun, or the moon. I'm going to share with you, first of all, the big themes of the week, then on screen, your event chart on Monday, always influential. Then I'll go through each of the influences frame by frame to give you a clear picture of what you can expect in terms of relationships, finance, energy, and work. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundell. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to the channel, please do so now to help it to continue to thrive. As you come into this week, Mercury is now traveling forwards in the part of your chart that's very much to do with exploration, travel, and higher education. After a 3-week retrograde, that's truly welcome. But at the heart of this week, Cancer, the Sun moves to connect with Saturn in the most visible part of your chart for the first time in 28 years. But they're also, as a duo, linking to Pluto, the planet of power and transformation, in an incredibly historically rare connection. What does that mean? There's also a quarter moon in your zodiac sign on Wednesday. I'll share about that. And then towards the end of the week, Venus, the relator, but also the planet of money, links to Chiron, the so-called wounded healer. What's the implications? So on screen, Cancer, is your event chart. As ever, we need to be mindful of your ruler, the moon. So as we go into the week, the moon is going to be connecting to the restless energies of Uranus. You might find yourself thinking a little bit more creatively, if you like, about your long-term future. Lots of different ideas could be buzzing around your mind as you come into the week. But there is Mercury now direct. It is still in that very potent conjunction with the North Node. And although Mercury in the ninth house can be about information, but particularly to do with things like courses, um, documentation, it can be to do with travel. That North Node conjunction is just reminding you of that part of your nature which is very instinctive. So if you're thinking about doing something that widens your horizon, do trust your inner voice. But Mars, the planet of action and thrust, retains its location in this ninth house. And that suggests that if you are feeling that the status quo in your life is a bit stale, Mars is linked to Jupiter in your sign, is truly sensational. And this can bring out that part of your nature that can be very much a leader and could see you want to take on some kind of challenge, particularly if something does feel stuck or isn't really working for you anymore. And that could be around your work or your connection to the wider world, because the sun in the 10th house can be about responsibilities, it can be about success and goals, but also it can be to do with things like property. And the sun applying to Saturn at the heart of the week can be a little bit sobering, but it can bring a reward. So if there's something you've been working on for some time, it could come through. Saturn can be about outcomes and consequences. But the sun is about innate energy. And if you're in an environment that does feel very rigid, perhaps it's very conventional, it may be like a big corporation and it doesn't have much flair around it, and you feel a bit stifled, I think that Mars Jupiter energy can really be giving you a serious idea that maybe you should do something completely different. But as the week goes on, Venus is going to be connecting to Chiron, which is important. But I just want to bring in Pluto because Pluto's in a very psychological part of your situation. If you're a very serious business person, for example, you have your own enterprise, Pluto linking to the Sun and Saturn could be a point when actually you do have a significant breakthrough. But equally, the quarter moon, which occurs on Wednesday, could make you just that much more aware that if you're needing to bend to fit in with those very staid expectations, that can bring out that more rebellious spirit of yours. And by the end of the week, as Venus is linking to Chiron, as much as people may have great respect for you for what you do, Chiron in the 10th house can engender that. If you're not feeling it, or you don't feel that the experience you have is being used as good as it could be, Venus's conjunction just suggests some diplomatic conversations about that. However, do you know, this 10th house energy could be where you decide to become more committed. And if it's around a relationship, that could be deciding to get a property together with all these influences, and could be rather healing as Venus connects to Chiron. So if there has been a past situation that didn't work out for you, maybe you did do some of those things like live together, even get married, and that left its mark. This can be a week of transformation, but I think you need to approach things cautiously. And that, of course, is something you're very aware of because you're always checking out if things feel right. But if you really are up for changing or challenging the status quo, I think the key influence this week is Mars in that trine to Jupiter. So, boiling it down to relationships, I think a relationship could get more serious. You could actually be attracted to someone through your work or someone who's older than you. However, equally, if in a relationship situation there are some family politics, it may be a parent's or one parent's input which is not very welcome. That could show up in an unhelpful way. But whatever your circumstances, whether you are considering uh, your relationship or your work, you need to feel that your soul purpose is being expressed. And if it's not, that could see you thinking about making a change. And these are very vivid and lively energies, and they can be about the concept of freedom. But if you're very thorough and working towards a goal in a systematic way that you're comfortable with, and you're being quite strategic, if you like, around your resources, Pluto's linked to Saturn and the Sun could actually be very helpful around money. Have a great week, Cancer. You can sign up for your free daily horoscope to be fired to your device. Please see the link below. If you've yet to watch your vernal equinox 3-month forecast, please see that on the screen. Your Pisces new moon video. If you'd like to work with me one-to-one, please see my testimonials below. And if you'd like to order your personal horoscopes, they give you an opportunity to gain a much deeper insight into your journey through this life that's totally unique to you. And there's 50% off. Please see the link below. Take care, all the best, and goodbye.